Thank you, Toastmasters. Good morning, Toastmasters. Let's do one spot. Good morning, Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
That's the spirit. I welcome you all to the 307th meeting of Bright Beginning Toastmasters Club. And as everybody has their mission in their life and they try to achieve it, every start of the year we set the goals and try to achieve it in the year. But after some time, what happens? Most of us lose the track of it. And just like that, we all Toastmasters do not lose the track of our mission. The mission of the Toastmaster Club is to provide positive and supportive learning environment in which members are empowered to grow their communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and their personal growth. Before starting the meeting, I would like to mention three ground rules that we will follow during our meeting. Rule number one, please keep your phone on silent mode. If you haven't done that, you have 5 seconds to do that. Rule number two, please keep yourself on mute mode unless you speak because it might disturb the speaker or whoever is the host. Rule number three, please refrain yourself from talking about sex, religion, and politics in derogatory manner. We are all here for a healthy discussion. For further proceeding, please help me in welcoming the presiding officer of the today's meeting, Toastmaster Shona.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ved. It's happy to
Okay.
see you back after so many days. And I'm so delighted that Arsa is back. Sa Ved. So, do we have any guests today? Satyaket, you feels like a member to us now. So I will not call you as a guest. And so for Toastmaster Mayank.
I am the guest.
No, you are not the guest. But you are amongst the one of the best. So so today we don't have any guests because the guests who were here are more of a member now. But yes, among us there are two new members, Toastmaster Gaurav and Toastmaster Yashi. So I would like all of us to welcome Toastmaster Yashi and Toastmaster Gaurav as the bright beginning members. And I would like to call you on stage after a certain time, but before that, let me share an antidote for today's meeting. The theme of today's meeting is first principle. Though I don't know about this particular theme, and I would let the Toastmaster of the day today to cover this meeting. But before that, let me share the statement of Toastmasters. Our club has created a warm, friendly, and supportive environment as we gather each week to fulfill our mission, provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which our members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills. To be a place of deep community where aspiring speakers and leaders come to learn and proven orators and heroic pioneers continue to grow and share their wisdom. At each meeting, we have a theme, and today's our theme is the first principle, as I already mentioned. So, to start with today's theme, let me invite our Toastmaster of the day, who is none other than Toastmaster Anshuman. So, guys, welcome Toastmaster Anshuman with a big round of applause.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Shaunak. Do you want to invite Toastmaster Yashik and Toastmaster Gaurav to say a few words
Yes. So,
before I call it?
Toastmaster Gaurav, may I invite you to come and just tell us something about yourself, though we have already shared your introduction, but we would love to listen from you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Gaurav, and I've been part of IT industry for more than 15 years.
Sorry to interrupt, Toastmaster Gaurav. May I request you to turn on your camera?
Give me a minute. Is it fine?
Yes, totally
Yeah.
fine.
So I've been part of the IT industry from past 15 years. Majorly worked on the different solution, whether it's a full stack or package solutions. Now I like to travel a lot. I mean, I try to see that I can cover 2 to 3 trips in a year, and that's all about me as of now.
Lovely to hear from you, Gaurav. Toastmaster Yashi, would you like to share something about yourself?
Hi, Toastmaster Shaunak. So I am a Toastmaster since last 7 years. In between, I have taken a break as well. I've been part and parcel of District 41 in leadership as well as hopping different clubs. So currently, like I have resumed my journey of learning again, and I really wanted to work on certain skills, and I'm looking forward with bright beginning to have my bright beginnings. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much. So, with that, let's start today's meeting. And let me hand over the stage to our Toastmaster of the day today, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Shaunak, and welcome everyone to another exciting meeting of our club. The theme of the meeting today is first principles. How many of us have heard of what first principles is? I know Toastmaster Wade definitely would have. I think that is the part I miss about Wade not joining the meetings, that all these random phrases and discussions Wade is usually aware. But how many of us are aware of the phrase called first principles? Thinking in first principles. It's off late made popular by Elon Musk, but it traces its history to thousands and thousands years of back. How many of us have heard of Euclidean geometry? How many of us know geometry was derived by this person called Euclid? Okay, so basically, I'll not keep the suspense going on for too long. So basically, thinking in first principles is ensuring that whatever outcome we are arriving in thinking is based on fundamental truths and not assumptions. For example, we saw the SpaceX IPO launch yesterday, and that is one of the biggest thinking barriers broken by Elon Musk and team. So initially, when Elon Musk had this idea of reusable rockets, everyone said it is impossible, that rockets can't go to space and come back and be restored again. Plus, even if hypothetically it's possible, the budget of it is will be extraordinary. A private company can't build a reusable rocket, let alone a rocket to begin with. So Elon Musk went about how he does traditionally in any of his areas, is thinking from the first principles. So he read any and every book possible on building rockets, on what are the components involved, what is the physics behind it, met all the experts, and him being the genius he is, then he flew down to Russia, to where all like lot of primary components were being derived for the rocket building, especially the steel aspect of it. And then he realized that the cost that was being put in the rockets, uh, used by NASA, was 10 times the basic cost that was there. So he learned that if he derived the materials directly, he could save 1/10 the cost which NASA was using. And similarly, arrived at this basic understanding of anything and everything that is being used and built SpaceX. So that is first principles thinking. That at times we work using assumptions, that assuming this is true, assuming this is true, assuming this is true. This is the ultimate, and through analogy, we figure out this is the truth. But first principles is breaking down anything and everything to the most fundamental truth, that we can't go below this truth, and then coming to a conclusion. And this is something we do in mathematics a lot. That's why I talked about Euclidean geometry. So Euclid was a person whose book Euclidean geometry started with the most basic definitions. That this is definition 1, definition 2, definition 3, then assumption 1, assumption 2, assumption 3. And then he used those basic principles to arrive at further logic. So no hypothesis, no random analogies, just working through the basic truths. We'll talk about applying first principles to public speaking and leadership life. And I love to know from you, what do you think are the fundamental first principles of public speaking and leadership? But before we do that, I'll like to run us through the structure of the meeting, which is we'll have a prepared speech with Toastmaster Yashika sharing a spontaneous speech today, challenging herself into the impromptu section of the level 4 pathway. Then we'll have the table topic section where we'll practice impromptu speaking. And last but not the least, we'll have the evaluation section where we'll get feedback on how we perform the roles today. And to head the evaluation section, I'd like to invite the general evaluator for today morning, Toastmaster Sean, to share about the section and invite his team to share about the evaluation. Over to you, Toastmaster Sean.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anshuman. I was feeling so ashamed when Toastmaster Anshuman initially asked, have you heard about the first principle and so on and so on. So I really need to study all these things to, save myself from the further embarrassments. With that, good morning all. For the benefits of our members and guests, I am the general evaluator and I conduct the evaluation portion of our meeting. I will be calling on a team to assist me with giving feedback to our speakers and I will evaluate the entire meeting as well at the end. To support me, let me invite my tag team.
Toastmaster Satyaket is the language evaluator. And
Okay, so let me invite Toastmaster Satyaket, who is the language evaluator for today's meeting.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shaunak, for that warm welcome. And good morning, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So just like the theme of the day, first principle, it's about breaking down the complex problems with the fundamental parts. Just like that, in that spirit, communication itself can be viewed through the first principle lens itself, the clarity of the thoughts and the way we structure. For that, we have the role of grammarian, where we look at how we are structuring our languages, how we are using the filler words like us, and ums and also a lot of verbal crutches to convey our thoughts. As a grammarian and language evaluator, I will play the role to find out what your crutch words are, where you're using it, and more than that, also enhance your vocabulary by also using and encouraging all of you to use the word of the day. For today, the word of the day is very common. It's rather very common. It's fundamental. It means the necessary base or core, serving as an essential part. It is not. It's very frequently used, and I give you an example. Is that an active listening is a fundamental skill of effective leadership as well as communication. So all the best to all of you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Satyaket. Let me invite the timer for today's meeting, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Shaunak. As a timer, I'll be timing the speeches at 7 minutes, where you'll get a green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. 7 minutes, you have to conclude your speech, unless it's an icebreaker speech, where at 4, 5, 6 minutes, the respective cards follow. For a table topic speech, you'll have 2 minutes, where 1 minute you'll get a green card, 1.5 minutes yellow card, and 2 minutes a red card to conclude your speech in 30 seconds. Last but not least, we'll have the evaluation section, where you'll get 3 minutes, where you'll have a green card 2 minutes, yellow card at 2.5 minutes, and red card at 3 minutes. I look forward to a productive and efficient meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Shaunak.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anshuman. With respect to the Tech Master also, will you be covering it?
Yes, that's a behind the scene role.
Okay, perfect.
No credits required there.
So this is the introduction from the general evaluator and for my tag team. With that, I hand over the stage back to Toastmaster of the day today, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Shaunak. And just checking in if Toastmaster Meenakshi has been able to join. If not, Toastmaster Mayank, will you be able to do an evaluation for a speech?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a spontaneous speech and has to be judged on the basic evaluation frameworks.
I'll try my best. I'm out of practice.
So that is for Toastmaster Yashika. So over to you, Toastmaster
A
Mayank.
spontaneous speech gets a spontaneous evaluation.
Exactly. Challenge for both. So we'll have the first speaker now on the stage is Toastmaster Yashika delivering her first speech after a while, I believe. And to evaluate her, we have an evaluator who's also evaluating after a while. So quite a good combination. So I'd like to invite Toastmaster Mayank to share the basic evaluation background to Toastmaster Yashika's speech.
So, Toastmaster Yashika, welcome on board. Today you will be delivering a level 4 speech on spontaneous speaking, and your timing is going to be 5 to 7 minutes. So, with 5 minutes at the green, 6 at yellow, and 7 minutes red card, which will continue until you stop your speech. You will be evaluated on the basic framework as prescribed by Toastmaster that I can recall. All the best.
Thanks out to Usman Mayank. And also just checking in, we can do evaluation right after speech if you're not available for the meeting.
That'll be
Sure.
great.
So we'll follow up with evaluation after the speech itself. All right, over to you, Toastmaster Yashika. And we'll love to learn what is the spontaneous title for your speech, for your spontaneous speech.
Toastmasters.
Wow, okay. Should have been predictable. All right. So Toastmaster Yashika, Toastmasters, Toastmasters, Toastmaster Yashika.
Good morning, fellow members and dear guest. Yashika, a Japanese company which invented a camera, and everyone asked me what your name means. And I had to Google up before I tell that my parents found it very easy. They just found a camera and they liked the name and they were like, oh, we can name our daughter Yashika. But now, when I meet people, I often tell them Yashika means a person who attracts money and fame, glory. Just to sounds exciting. That's what Google tells me to tell you guys. But the journey doesn't end here. I always used to think that Yashika, being a camera, means capturing memories. Over years, I realized I'm just piling up, that stacking up the memories, good, bad, but something needed an upgrade, or maybe you can say update. While in 2016, I get to know about Toastmasters concept through a social networking, but the timings were not aligned and the pocket didn't allow. Then comes the COVID in 2019, the opportunity where everything went online. Today, again, I'm meeting you all in an online setup, but taking you back to 2019, before that, everyone was having offline meetings. In 2019, I get to know that clubs are having virtual meeting. Then I wanted to know that what exactly is Toastmasters, what they do. And I was very underconfident person who used to be very shy. Even if anyone going to ask me to go and order at McDonald's, I used to fumble. I used to be like, I don't know. I was just scanning menu. My hands were shaking most of the time. I was not aware that I was socially awkward. Maybe I was confident one on one, but I was very, very socially awkward. Then somebody let me know about the fundamental of Toastmasters, that it's all about, you have to speak, you have to be an active listener, you will get evaluation, and it's about leadership. Gone above my head. I was not aware that what exactly they are talking about. How am I supposed to know? Then I tried attending one of the meetings in an online setup. So I joined TMSL. TMSL was my home club. And it was the same time in June 2019 when I joined the meeting as a guest. And when July onwards start, so from July till December, I get to understand that how it's working. I was very excited, and it was online portal. I was using presentation PowerPoints to use my role as a timer to make interactive, the sounds while doing presenting my reports. And my mentor, my first mentor, Sanchit Tayal, asked me that I will be the VP education for the TMSL in 2020 Jan to June tenure. And I was like, no, maybe I'm not ready because I had my dog to take care of. Uh, he was diabetic and he lost his vision. My weekends, even during the COVID, my time was divided in my home and taking care of him, traveling 4 hours in duration to get him injections and everything because it was COVID. I live in North Delhi. The vet was in Vikaspuri. It used to be to and fro for me. And my life was all about Bruno. It was Yashika, a person who is associated with, yeah, she loves dogs. And the Bruno, the name everyone knew who knew me since 2019. So every time I used to go around, I was like, no, maybe it's a huge responsibility while taking care of him with office, with family, and the COVID ongoing, I might not be able to do. But somebody saw something in me that gave me courage to take a step, and I become the VP Ed. I saw that kind of election for the very first time. I witnessed that kind of election in my life that for every role, everyone is contesting, but for VP8 only the name is written Yashika Sikri. And I was like, how can people are so confident that I can do? I'm just 6 months old into the system and I don't know. But they believed me. Somebody took a chance on me. And that gave me a courage that yes, that's what Toastmasters is about, taking a chance. From being VP Ed, my journey shifted to that I got to know that we can apply for area director, and I did. I took a chance for 2020 to 2021. I applied for being area director for Delhi, for which I received a message that I got rejected. But then again, it was not over. The same after 2 days, I received a call from DTM uncle. He said, we are looking for area director, but for the Noida. And I was like, okay, my office was in Noida that time. I agreed to it. And it was for corporate clubs. I agreed. And the only condition was you have to attend the DOTP that's going to take place in Kolkata. And I was like, let me check with that people at my home, with my family, that should I be able to. But somehow it worked. Then comes the introduction part in Kolkata for DOTP, and everyone get to know that Yashika is not just a Toastmaster, Yashika as a pistol shooter who is learning pistol shooting at a zonal level. Then comes a twist. In 2021, after 1 year of area director, I became the division director for Delhi region, a region which is just not huge but have a lot of responsibility to be taken care of. But unfortunately, that time I also got tied up with my career switch and I became part of Byju's. And with the career switch between and with the health, everything, something fall apart and I had to take a break. But that was not about it. I learned so many things. I become the VP PR. I learned how to create posters, and that helped me in my professional journey as well. So if anyone comes across me, I always used to share that Toastmasters is not just about, that you're going and speaking. It's about learning from people in the room. Your presence makes a difference. If you are looking to change your life, it's not just you're making efforts one by one your own. You have mentors, you have people around, and you can learn from anyone who is new, who is veteran. Thank you. Over to you.
Wow. Request us take 1 minute to share feedback with Tosma Yashika in a private chat. And so good to learn about your Toastmaster journey, Tosma Yashika. And as coincidence will have it, the one you match with Toastmaster Mayank is he had a similar VP education story. that everyone nominated for every other role except VP Education. Toastmaster Mayank was, I think, 1 week into Bright Wing Toastmaster, and he was wondering why isn't anyone nominating. And Toastmaster Mayank, I'll let you narrate the story.
Yes, I would love to hear from you.
Toastmaster Mayank, do you want to narrate that story?
Oh, it was my first day of joining Toastmasters, not 1 week. And I'm like, what could possibly be a challenge? Why is like people not willing to take a role? I said, fine, I will take it up. It's okay. It's ultimately a role. And I think I just did manage to, do little justice to that role. Of course, to get to be a VP education, you need to have connects, you need to understand the program well, and hence, subsequently, I made that rule that the VP education has to be at least 6 months old in the system before they pick up this kind of a role. So yeah, learning and making sure that nobody else falls in the same trap, um, you know,
Beautiful.
was the one.
And you did a great job is an understatement, Toastmaster Mayank, because eventually Toastmaster Mayank spearheaded a lot of bright building work, including majority of our meetings for more than a year were held in Toastmaster Mayank's home's basement. So much so for taking away.
It,
But anyhow, I'll also now like to invite Toastmaster Mayank to share the evaluation report for Toastmaster Yashika's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Mayank.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ajman. So Yashi or Yashika, the camera was like the starting and clicking of your name in the story, because when I heard your name was Yashika, I was like, Yashika ho to camera, camera ho to Yashika. That's the tagline which went with the camera. I mean, I'm sure Toastmaster and Shuman and the younger generation will not be able to correlate with that. But yeah, me oldies can do, of course, relate with that statement. Anyways, so it was lovely to hear you, Toastmaster Yashika, on your impromptu speech. My recommendation for you is that just try and keep your camera a little away so that your body, a larger part of the body is visible and your hand gestures. Otherwise, just your face visible and really doesn't give a great comfort to the listener because it's very intimidating. You had a great start by giving the setup or context of where were you before you started Toastmasters, wherein you said that you were an underconfident person and you fumbled while giving an order at McDonald's. You could have also added a reference to like your position was like the Devi of the movie English, how to order a basic coffee, you'd be confused and what to do. I mean, I think that English was very well presented. Anyways, let's not talk about that. Um, in terms of a few areas of improvements, whenever you are using an abbreviation, try and expand it. For example, you use the word TMSL, DOTP. Try and expand it so larger people are able to connect and relate of what is it. For example, maybe few younger generation people like say Sanskar may not know what is DOTP. It stands for District Officers Training Program. TMSL, I still couldn't figure out which club was it. Um, right. Apart from that, you gave a reference of your dog, right? And after speaking about it, that it had blindness, etc., you took its name Bruno much in later. You could have given, try and give the name of the person or the dog in advance. You could also describe, the breed or the color or how old he or she was, so that people are able to understand and, appreciate of uh, what kind of a relation or a person are you talking about, and have generate a picture in their mind that what kind of a person it was. Um, and I really appreciated the way you talked about that Toastmaster is not only about public speaking, but also helps your professional journey in terms of being able to listen. And that's what I keep telling the newer generation that you need to learn the art of listening. In fact, in our school days also, the only thing that was there in public speaking was debate, where we were just made to not listen to what the other guy is saying and just cut him out, and move on, right? So these are few things. Apart from that, I peculiarly noted that there's one on grammar, which I'm sure the Toastmaster is going to capture, the grammarian is going to capture it, is the usage of get and got, right? So you often use the word I get to know. It has to be I got to know. So try and replace the word get with got, because got is what is past tense, and get is what I get it is more on the present tense. But overall, I think rejoining Toastmasters and challenging yourself to give an impromptu speech was commendable. And welcome back to Toastmasters, to the Bright Beginning Club. And all I can say is that people who join us do not hop onto any other club, right? Because of the warmth and affection that we share. So I'm sure your hopping stops here, and you have a bright career and beginnings that never end forever. All the best to you.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Mayank, and thanks a lot, Toastmaster Yashika. Will now fondly remember your name, knowing the origin of it now. All right. Thank you for your speech.
Thank you.
Now we are back in motion talking about the theme for the day, which is first principles. All right, let's try and apply first principles thinking to, say, public speaking. And usually, first principles thinking starts with a problem statement. So, problem statement, I'll put it for us is, can I, by I mean any one of us, talking about yourself, can I become a world championship public speaker? And how we have to apply first principles thinking is from the basics, like the most granular truth possible of here, for example, becoming a world championship public speaker. So can any one of us in this room become a world championship public speaker? If yes or no, how, what, why of it? Anyone wants to give a stab at thinking about becoming a world championship public speaker? And the thinking has to be from a first principles lens. By first principles, I mean that coming to the most basic truth of public speaking, at what makes a great public speaker in a Toastmasters context. Yes, Toastmaster.
With my journey so far with Toastmasters, one thing what I have learned is the storytelling. No matter how bad your English is, or no matter how good it is, until or unless you're not able to convince a person sitting in front of you to listen to your idea, you cannot proceed further. Neither you, I mean, forget about becoming a world speaker. You won't be even able to communicate or convince that person sitting in front of you. And the greatest idea to convince or engage someone is the storytelling. Because we all remember the stories we have heard in our childhood till now. The whole reason of storytelling is it gives you a perspective rather than commanding you or controlling you. So, if you want to be a world class speaker, first of all, you need to understand what it requires to construct your thoughts into a story that will help you to engage the audiences and the judges. I mean, that what my belief is, what my thought about this is.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shaunak. Now I like to challenge you. Is that the first principle? So, what composes a great story? What is the most basic truth of a great story?
The basic truth of a great story is that it should be a fundamental that could be widely accepted by common people. It should be a common story which will be relatable to people around you. If you are going into the great depths of it, probably you will be the only one who understands it, not the other people. So it should be relatable first of all. It should start from the scratch, where people can understand how actually it originate that idea of that particular story. What was the overall journey that a person has gone through during that story? What were the key learnings? And at the end, what is the key takeaway? What I can take with that story? So that's what I
Fantastic.
believe.
So the basics would be, say, relatability, learnings, message, and maybe the characters themselves. That put turn. Please turn on your Yashika. Yes. So like the character. So Yashika as a character. So the fundamentals are, we have character, we have message, we have learnings, we have a story arc. uh, I want to check with all of us, is that the most fundamental we can go into a story, or there's much more to storytelling? Is there a further level down to storytelling for any one of us? Like, if we have to start with a great story for World Championship public speaking,
It
is
has
that
to
the
be
most fun?
inspiring. It has to be
Yes,
an inspiring story.
inspirational. Uh, but when I have to build a speech, I'm looking at that first ground principle. If I'm looking at Dhananjay's speech, say, who like Verity Prize speech, or whoever the World Championship winner speeches, if they tick mark all these boxes, will they be world champions?
The first is, of course, if I may, first is connecting with the audience or this, right? Presenting a story which brings through a journey and not just a statement and blabber, but it's more of action, drama, presentation on it. And before I speak any further, I let Gaurav speak on it, please.
So for me, I think it's how you connect with the audience and what's in it for the audience. If you can catch the line one or two, your first initial statements. Suppose, for example, I'll say that I work in the higher ed industry to work with the university to do a digital transformation. Then my first line would be like, I'm the one who is working to change the future, how your children is going to get the education and all. So that might attract the interest. So they see that what's in it me, that the speech that I'm listening, I'm here. Maybe I'm getting some kind of a benefit out of it.
Right.
So how is your audience, whether it's what type of audience is there, and how you can connect with them, relate with them. That might
Beautiful.
be the
Thank you for sharing those, Gaurav. Definitely, I think relatability to the audience, what's in it for them, so that they don't get bored, zone out, sleep off. It's quite important. Yes, Toastmaster Nancy.
I think storytelling is an art, and it's not that we have to just tell the story and people. Obviously, it should be relatable as well. But I think adding emotions to your story, people feel that story the way you are telling. So emotions also matter when you are telling your story. People should feel the same emotions the way you are telling them. So that's, I feel, is one of the point that we should consider while telling our story to people.
Beautiful. So
Conviction.
emotions should be shared and should land. So definitely. Toastmaster Satyaki.
Yeah, hi. So I think the first thing that any speaker would like to know is that what do they want to derive from the speech or the elocution that they're going to go for? Do they want to educate? Do they want to inspire? Or do they want to inform their audience? And based on that, with that clarity, they what the next thing that needs to go on to is the body language. So essentially, definitely the content is does play a bigger part of it, especially in an online setting. However, if we transition into an offline setting, your presence is more felt and your energy is more felt by the body language and the extent of the ease which you move around the podium or the stage, even if you're presenting to your colleagues or even if you're delivering a speech to the audience. So these two things, I think, create a marking effect on your audience. These are the key things.
Beautiful. And thank you. Makes so much sense of like what the message should be, what the purpose should be. Uh, we also have Toastmaster Kansha, but before even that, first principles is going back to just the foundation and basics. And I like to question. We assume that all the Toastmaster World Champion speakers are good storytellers, but can you become a world champion without telling a story? Is that possible? Did any World Championship Toastmaster winner did not tell a story? So that's something to question. So first principles is even going down to the basics, but we won't do that. For example, vocal variety. For example, eye contact. For example, body language is something we discussed. Then further going down, body language. How much hand should I move? Should I move this, that, upright, front, back? And who better than that to share her experience, Toastmaster Kansha, who made it to the district stage. And Toastmaster Kansha literally mapped the entire stage, made it into 9 boxes. And at this second, she'll move at this stage, is the level she had gone down to. That's kind of like a first principles thinking applied to speeches. So Toastmaster Kansha.
So that is what I was going to mention, Toastmaster Anshuman, that first principle, I would say it comes down to the basics, which is eye contact, hand gestures, stage movement, basic English grammar. Having good grammar and fluency is very, very important, because if that's not there, then your credibility gets questioned as a speaker. Because if we talk about Toastmasters World Championship, of course, if it's a Hindi speaking club, then it's a different thing altogether. And another thing, like apart from all the great points that were brought up, relatability, having emotions, uh, keeping the audience in mind, would be that Toastmaster Anshuman only stressed, but I learned after the competition, after the contest, was keeping it simple. The story and everything, like whatever you're speaking about, it needs to be very, very simple, so that the audience does not need to assume anything or fill the gaps themselves. You should be directing the audience. If we think about ourselves as a speaker on the stage, we should think like a movie director, who, instead of having just one or two actors, has a set of 10, 20, 50 people, and you're directing their thoughts, their emotions, and the journey that they are going to go for the next 7 minutes. Yes, those would be my thoughts on this.
Fantastic, Toastmaster Kansha. You definitely brought down to further basics, right? And that's the interesting part about the World Championship journey, that at times some feel that it is about going extravagant, being Michael Jackson on the stage or doing something extraordinary. But the kind of discussions I learned, like as a sidelined coach, is the focus on fundamentals. Like the script was set, everything was set. Like as Sona Akansha mentioned, is the grammar on point? Is the stage movement on point? Are the hands moving right on the right stage? Is the vocal variety coming? Is the sentence long or short? This is what was being discussed in the journey, rather than uh, like whatever you mentioned was a given. Like that gets sorted at a club and area level itself. While we move to district, then like right now I'm working with distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder for his potential semi-final speech, hopefully if it happens, or regional is video recording. But there again it gets to really minute, like are the eyes going left right properly, is the stage movement happening properly? It gets to such granular levels, and that is what first principles thinking is all about, that getting out of most fundamental level and sorting it out, and then moving to the higher stages. So I like to challenge you in your own personal corporate work or at home, when you're working through, say, your presentations, if you're working through any of your life philosophies, are you assuming a few things which may not be true? So please do question yourself. Is it true or not at the most fundamental level? Start with the most fundamental level and then build upon it to the higher level. And to do that, we also have a section called the spontaneous speaking section, table topic section. And to head that, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Sanskar to share a few topics to question our fundamental thinking, which is the first principles thinking. Over to you, Toastmaster Sanskar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. So this week I had done a lot of brainstorming on what table topics I should bring upon to our audiences and what they would like, what they I have so I have brought up various topics on a lot of genres. It could be funny and awkward, personal and nostalgia, and etc. as it goes on. And this time I have brought our very old Dear Diary format, and where you go like, Dear Diary, today I did so and so, and then you have to continue from there onwards. So this is what I'll be doing today in our table topic session. And with that, I'll bring upon our first victim of table topics, which will first, I'd like Toastmaster Anshuman to demonstrate it for us, for our guests and new Toastmasters in our club. So,
Thomas Sanskar, if it's okay, I'd like to suggest the folks who haven't got much time to speak to come on the stage and share their table topic. If
sure.
I'm looking at the list, Toastmaster Answer, will it be possible for you to give a table topic?
Yeah, I can give the table topic, but I cannot turn my camera on. I have a lot of
That should be
lights.
fine, I guess.
should be fine. Okay, so Toastmaster Akansha, a table topic for you.
Hmm.
Dear Diary, I just said something so embarrassing in public that I considered moving cities. Dear Diary, I just said something so embarrassing in public that I considered moving cities, Toastmaster Akansha.
Hmm. Dear Diary, today I met some people who are going to be a big part of my life in future, hopefully one day. And while talking to them, everything was going great until and unless I mentioned, we were talking about drinks, and as soon as one of the aunties mentioned that LIT, Akansha, please try LIT. And I was like, no, I don't do well with this. It just came out in the moment. And then everybody was just staring at me and they were like, how do you know what it tastes like and what it does to me? Right? And that was the moment I gave out in front of all my relatives that yes, I have had a sip of LIT in past somewhere or the other. And this is the moment I know that I have become a sheep for the slaughter for my family and my relatives. This is something that I will never be able to escape and will be brought up every time there is a family get together. And I really do feel like I could go back to Gurgaon right now and never come back to Lucknow ever again. And I hope that these guys they forget about it. But I will wait and try to escape them for as long as I can and book the next flight home as soon as I can. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster Sanskar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akansha. I think this would be very straightforward for our guests and audiences and new members that this is how you do a table topic. And well,
We can go
from our
with
very best, right, Anshuman?
from Toastmaster Nancy because she hasn't taken up a role today. I wonder why. And maybe Toastmaster Mayank, Toastmaster Tikit.
Uh, so I'll ask Nancy right now.
Yes, Toastmaster Nancy, do you want to take up a table topic?
Okay, Toastmaster Nancy. I'll go with the genre of personal and nostalgic for you, and which is Toastmaster Nancy. Dear Diary, today I finally went back to the place I swore I'd never return to. Dear Diary, today I finally went back to the place I swore I'd never return to. Toastmaster Nancy.
thinking. Dear diary, there are few places which were not where I did not had very good memories, and I thought that I would never go back there again. But over a period of time, what I have seen that memories, either bad or good, those are memories. And it's okay to face even if the memories are bad. So it was not that I was willing to go to those places, but I had to go, and I made up my mind that it is fine to go to the places wherein you don't feel comfortable, where you did not had good experiences. Few of the friends uh, during college time were very good friends of mine. Over a period of time, something happened. We, I mean, some differences were there. But after a period of time, some situation came and we came together again. It was awkward situation for both of us, but we make it and we made it. We had a fun that time as well. So it's okay. You should be flexible enough to face any situation. So, dear diary, be open, whether memories are good or bad, be flexible. Back to you, Toastmaster Sanskar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nancy. I like the part where you mentioned Dear Diary, and that was the punchline for our table topics. So I hope our new members and guests were able to take few points from our very best members of the Bright Beginnings Toastmasters Club. And I'd like to now ask our new members a new table topic. Now I'll be asking from a next genre, which will be dramatic and mysterious. So Toastmaster Gaurav, I'd like to ask you, could you please turn on your camera? And timer, please note the timings. Dear Diary, Toastmaster Gaurav, are you ready?
Yeah.
So, Toastmaster Gaurav, Dear Diary, someone left a note under my door. It said only three words. Dear Diary, someone left a note under my door. It said only three words. Toastmaster Gaurav.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, dear diary, today when I woke up, I saw somebody dropped a note. Uh, and when I open it, it says, "You owe me. You owe me a big." I don't know what it is, what I have done to owe that person. Maybe a fear that, you know, I'm not, maybe a fear of something that I feel like, this dream might come true someday. Somebody say, "You owe me, you did something to me, and now you owe me for that." So I think that's it as of now.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. Okay. Now, our next victim will be Toastmaster Yashika. Toastmaster Yashika, are you there?
Sanskar, sorry, I need 2 minutes if we can move
Sure,
on to.
sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, none other than our very best. Now we also like include him as our members. Toastmaster Satyaket, would you like to give a try on our table topics? Absolutely. Okay, okay. Um, another genre for you, reflective and philosophical. So, Toastmaster Satyaket, dear diary, I woke up today and realized I have been living someone else's version of my life. Dear diary, I woke up today and realized I have been living someone else's version of my life. Toastmaster Satyaket.
Dear diary, I woke up today and I went up to the mirror and washed my face. As I washed my face, I look myself. I look at myself and I take myself back 15 years back, rather 10 years back, when I was just in the college, rather, I was just about to go to college. And I realized that the person who washed his face is not the person uh, that he wanted to be when he was 16 or 15. So that is the point that I questioned myself that, well, is this something that I thought of coming over, or is it something that I followed someone else's path and then because I thought it was very flashy on the outside, right? A lot of us go through a similar situations. Now the question arises that it's not it's not what you envisioned 10 years back or 15 years back of yourself to be where you are right now. It's about how you're making the best of the moment. That's what I realized, that when you realize that you have a set of goals A, B, C 10 years back, and then you want to eventually transition yourself into that goal, you need to be in touch with that person who set that goal. What happens is, with the event or with the harshness of life, things get going and you start to blend in. I try to blend in with what everybody considers as you know, you need to get the job, you need to get the promotions and then get going. However, when you wash your face, when you take a step back and question yourself that what is it that you're trying to accomplish each day, each week, each month, and over the years? Is it at the end? Is it uh, aligned with your goals that you had 8 years back, 5 years back, or 2 years back? And that is the question. If the answer is yes, then you need to go on. And if your answer is thinking about it, then I think we need to step back and rethink our journey. So over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster MBK. That was a very wonderful tie, and I'd like to know you more. And I'll move on to our next table topic speaker, which will be none other than our Toastmaster Mayank. Toastmaster Mayank, did I caught you at surprise or what?
Yeah, I was in the middle of some, so I
Okay,
not
so are you
realize.
ready?
Yeah, sure, I'll try. Dear Diary, right?
Right. Yeah. So, Toastmaster Mayank, Dear Diary. This is a very so the genre which I picked up for you is funny and awkward. Dear Diary, I accidentally walked into the wrong meeting today and just stayed. Dear Diary, I accidentally walked into the wrong meeting today and just stayed. Toastmaster Mayank.
Dear Diary, today I went to a restaurant for a blind date and I walked into a wrong table come meeting room. I was supposed to be meeting someone who's supposed to be my life partner, but I actually went into a meeting room when an interview was being taken. And the interview was started with, okay, tell me about yourself. And I was like, all right, why is this person on a blind date giving me like such professional questions? And I just went carefree and I said my life and I talked about it and the interviewer was like, "Oh, that's a very interesting learning that I have from someone on tell me about yourself. You have given the real foundation of what makes Mayank Mayank." And I really appreciate the character that you've talked about yourself in terms of how how you are, what your education is. I think it was a it was a very elaborate discussion or a understanding on you as a person, and that was totally different. And then said, "Oh, we're ready to hire you." I'm like, hiring me? Is this like supposed to be a hiring for a husband position? Is that a position that is really advertised? Of course, you know what, you don't really know what it can be on the position of a husband, right? Toastmaster Anshuman will really understand, and Shaunak will understand that what is it to apply for a position of a husband. Yeah. Dear diary, it was a very awkward moment because I was looking at the other person to be my life partner. Turned out he happened to be my boss for years and times to come. By Dear Diary. It was very funny and awkward.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mayan. That I hope timer. Do we have the time for more table topics? Toastmaster Anshuman, do we have time for more table topics? Um, okay, I'll continue with Toastmaster Yashika. Toastmaster Yashika, are you ready for a table topic? Okay. So, dear diary, Toastmaster Yashika, dear diary, it's been exactly 10 years since that day. I still think about it. Dear diary, it's been exactly 10 years since that day, and I still think about it. Toastmaster Yashika.
Diary. It's been exactly 10 years since that day, and I still think about it. I could have never imagined that I will be able to make my first huge purchase, and I always wanted to drive Thar. I was always hoping that, yeah, just looking at the racing cars around, it used to make me feel that, yes, I will be the one driving the racing car one day. I remember that initially in my interviews, when in my second organization, they asked me, if we are going to give you 1 lakh rupees, what are you going to do? You cannot use it to spend on FD. What are you going to do? I took a pause because I told them, see, 1 lakh would be too less for a down payment, and I would like to own a car. Because since I started driving, it's been 15 years though, but I always wanted to own something which I bought by myself. So, luckily, last year, with whatever the circumstances and situation has changed into, I made a very wise choice. I have bought my first car, which is eco friendly. I bought an electric car, which was something I was not hoping that I might do. But with different circumstances, I was able to make a wise decision, considering that from not daily to travel to Gurgaon every day, spending on petrol and diesel over Thar for 90 kilometer per day, I selected that I would go for EV car, which has actually resulted into a good decision. Dear diary, I still love that how uh, I still love that how 10 years ago I used to think that I will be able to do it, but now I'm proud to tell you that today I have achieved my goal. Thank you. Over to you.
Oh, thank you, Toastmaster Yashika. Taking the electric choice was a very good decision, and I could very much relate with it because I also have an electric car in my home. My dad has an electric car, not me. So thank you, Toastmaster Yashika. With that, I'd like to move on with our session today. Thank you for having me as your table topic master, and with that, I'll be signing off. Toastmaster Anshuman, back to you. Is Toastmaster Anshuman with us? Um, okay, no worries. I'll do some more table topics. Toastmaster Shaunik, have you given us a table topic?
I have not given you the table topic.
Oh, yeah, right. I was trying to escape this, but but let's do it. Okay. So, do we have a table topic for me?
Well, that's a question. You want to give me a table topic or shall I give you a table topic? Both the options are open.
Okay, fine. I'll go with the table topic.
Perfect. So here is your topic. If a famous historical figure diary was discovered today, who would you want it to belong it to? Toastmaster Sanskar. Toastmaster Sanskar, if a famous historical figure diary was discovered today, who would you want it to belong to?
Uh, okay, this is a really tough one. So to understand, sorry, I'm interrupting in a bit. So to understand a model diary, like a very old diary or something.
That's up to you.
Okay. So could you just repeat it for me one more time, please?
If a famous historical figure's diary was discovered today, who would you want it to belong to?
Okay. If a famous diary I had discovered, it would belong to our freedom fighters who have been since long have making an history of fighting for our nation and fighting for our freedom, which is the basic human thing we have to have today in our lives. And if it wouldn't have been for them, we would have been under ruling since that time, and we would have been exploited. So I would like to dedicate this diary to our. I would like for this diary to belong to our freedom fighters who have been a part of our history, who have been who we still remember from that days, and and that is it. Thank you, Toastmaster Shaunak. That was my attempt.
You're welcome.
Thank you. With that, I'd like to now move on with our session today. Thank you for having me as your table topic master. And signing off, Toastmaster Shaunak as our G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sanskar. I would like to hand this stage back to Toastmaster Anshuman, who is the Toastmaster of the day today.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Shaunak. I think in the interest of time, we better get on moving with the evaluation section. So I'd like to invite you as a general evaluator to take for the evaluation section.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anshuman. Before I'll proceed with my report, I would like to invite my tag team to come and share their report first. With that, I would like to invite Toastmaster Satyake, who is a grammarian for today's meeting as a language evaluator, to come and share his report.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Toastmaster Shaunak. Give me a moment while I share my screen. Yeah. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
There you are. Yeah. So there's one update that's not there here. I think it's about Toastmaster Mayanka. Actually, it's about Toastmaster Yashi's speech. It was rightly pointed out by the evaluator himself that typically more for a major part of the speech, or rather on a iterative basis, the I mean it was used multiple times when, for example, everyone get to know. It's a singular noun, so it should be everyone gets to know. So it was just an example that is one thing that you can definitely improve upon. And continuing with Toastmasters Yashi's speech, you can see that you mentioned something about the Noida Club. Uh, However, it was not completed, as in it was mentioned that for the Noida, what you can do is add up the entire, I mean, give the time to the entire sentence, like for the Noida Club. That's very, I mean, that's cleaner. Secondly, Toastmaster Mayank had a good notable phrase that when he tried to emphasize something curious, he mentioned peculiarly noted. That created a good emphasis, and it was largely flawless. Only two uses of filler words, which was and Toastmaster Shaunak. There was only one phrase that felt a bit odd. That what I can take with. It was somewhere in between the last phase of your speech. You can mention it as what I can take away. Uh, so that is one thing. And Toastmaster Shanskar, more or less, it was entirely flawless. And towards the end, as you are ending your speech, what you can do is instead of putting it as "and that is it," you can put it like "so that is my 2 cents." That is much more cleaner. So this is my entire set of feedback from the grammarian perspective. And one more good usage that I've mentioned that I haven't mentioned in the report is Toastmasters Akansha's speech, where she mentioned about the sheep for slaughter. That was a fantastic phrase that everyone can use to give their perspective. So that's all. That's it from my side. And from me, I think I have also used a couple of filler words like and so. So essentially, these are the two things that everybody can work upon. Over to you, like Sir General Evaluator, Toastmaster Shah.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Satyakrit, for your detailed evaluation. With that, I would like to call upon our timer for today's meeting, Toastmaster Anshuman, to come and share the timing report for today's meeting.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Shaunak. So the speech today by Toastmaster Yashika was 7 minutes 10 seconds. Coming to the table topic speakers. Unfortunately, I could not time the last two table topics, but overall, majority of the table topic speakers touched the 2 minutes mark, which was fantastic. Like only I think Toastmaster Akansha initially was at 1 minute 23 seconds, and Toastmaster Gaurav was like, since he's doing the debut, was at 43 seconds. Besides that, I think all the other speakers were above the 1 minute 30 marks, which is fantastic. As for the evaluation by Toastmaster Mayank, it was at 3 minutes 23 seconds. So that was it for the timers report. Over to you, Toastmaster Shaunak.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anshuman, for sharing the timing report. Now I'll share my evaluation for today's meeting. We were a little bit late, but comparatively we were better. Although there was another speech which was planned, however, that couldn't be executed. So for next time, I request all the role players who have nominated themselves to please adhere to the schedule. And in case if there are any challenges or the problem, and if you cannot make it out, I request you to please inform the team. So there were some last minute backfills. So thanks to all the role players who have taken up the last minute roles for all your support and the contribution. Today, we heard some good speeches from Toastmaster Yashika and Toastmaster Gaurav. Toastmaster Gaurav, I have a recommendation for you. So it's a continuous learning process. And yes, with this, you will get to know how we have to construct ourselves so that you can deliver your speeches accordingly. So, for example, you have to deliver your introduction. So, with your introduction, you can start from your childhood journey, that so that people can relate to you as a child, how you were. Now after joining a corporate life, what prompts you to join Toastmaster, because then it will be easy for us to translate from your personality to your challenge and what you want to achieve with that. in this journey. Not only that will give you help your convey your transformation, but also give you a leverage where you can utilize your time effectively. So that's what my feedback to you. Toastmaster Yashika, you have already been a Toastmaster where you have taken various roles, so you were spot on. You know how to process your thoughts with respect to your speech today. Toastmaster Mayank has already given a fabulous feedback today. Toastmaster Sanskar, all the table topics were amazing, where you took the reference of book and engage people with that and helps to prompt the thinking hat of the people, bringing a lot of variety with that. So thank you for that. Toastmaster Anshuman, the theme for today's meeting was just amazing, whereas that also helped me to understand a new perspective that will help me to make to make decisions in life in a better way. The first principle means breaking a problem down to its most basic truth or the fact, and then build your solutions around it. That is very helpful for all of us, because majority of the time we know the problem, we have a goal to achieve. Unfortunately, we don't know how to start with that, how to break those things so that we can achieve to it. So there is a saying, there is a difference between motivation and consistency. Your motivation can break, but if you are consistent and if you are following the right approach, you will reach to your goal. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Anshuman, for covering this theme so beautifully and give us a new perspective about it. For me, it was a new thing which I learned today, and I'll make sure that I take the decisions of my life based on this particular approach to achieve my goals and to plan my journey accordingly. Also, thanks to all the role players for executing your job with perfection. So that's all from today's meeting as a report from the journal evaluator. I would like to hand over the stage back to our Toastmaster of the day today, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Thanks a lot of my Shaunak for that precise, apt, and relevant general evaluation uh, report. And thank you to my Satyakit for that comprehensive language evaluation. One part we could have done, if I can call out, is the word of the day and phrase of the day. I know Tosma Satyakit, took it at the last moment, but that's something we can think about next time. But as Tosma Shaunak called out, um, I think this is the new EC team. I think the new EC team has to optimize to see how the role players can be ready for their next week's roles. And I think week on week, we'll keep on iterating, learning from the first principles thinking, and ensuring that the countless new members which are joining right now, I think it's difficult for me also to keep a track that everyone is getting the right mentorship, onboarding, and taking things forward so that everyone gets the right role and pursues the growth journey at Toastmasters. All right. I hope all of us had a productive meeting and got to practice our spontaneous speeches, literally spontaneous speeches, because in the prepared speech was spontaneous speech. So quite a spontaneous meeting today, but look forward to more preparedness for the future. And as Toastmaster called out, I myself struggle to go to first principles a lot of time. Taking shortcuts is a natural way, because in a fast-paced world where the corporate requirements are so fast and even our daily life is laden with hundreds of action items, at times we just keep on working with assumptions. This is true, this is true, this is true, thus this will be true. But what if we can think beyond it, go back to the basics, see something different, contradictory? Like Toastmaster Gaurav just messaged that he'll require our help to add 190 members in the next 10 days in district. Okay, so adding 190 members. So it's a big challenge. For him, it's maybe normal, but for some of us, it may be a daunting task. But what if we can go back to the first principles and see, first of all, aligning to the mission of Toastmasters, that We want everyone to be confident communicators, great leaders, and in a genuine, heartful manner. There's no bias, there's no profit involved here. It's a genuine mission. So, what if we get those 190 members on board and genuinely change their lives? So, even if, say, 20 of us can add 10 members each in the next 10 days, the goal is possible, but that is for Toastmaster Gaurav to align. But hopefully, we go back, question our first principles, our basics, our thinkings, question the reality. Does this work, not work? Question our problem statements. Is it the correct problem statement, not a correct problem statement? And get things going. All right. I'd like to hand the stage back to Toastmaster Shaunak. I think it's a lot of back and forth between both of us today to conclude the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Shaunak.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anshuman. So though we don't have any guests today, Toastmaster Satyaket, you are part of Bright Beginning now. So I will not consider you as a guest. But I would like to take the feedback of Toastmaster Yashika and Toastmaster Gaurav, you being Bright Beginning members very recently. So Toastmaster Yashika, you are an ex-Toastmaster, but still with today's meeting, what is your feedback? And is there any possibilities for improvement that you wanted to propose?
Thank you, Toastmaster Shaunak. So I believe that I have observed one thing for the role of grammarian, that the word of the day fundamental has been used by Toastmaster Anshuman couple of times, which I have missed to mention. And even during my speech, I have mentioned it once. So if all the and when we are starting a table topics, since the word of the day is introduced in the start of the meeting, if we can introduce the word of the day again during the table topic segment, TTM can take it. That they can, reshare the word and in the chat box. That will be helpful for all the members, since it's in the chat box and we all can start practicing using the word of the day during our impromptu segment. Apart from that, I believe the meeting is going great, and we all are getting opportunity to be part of TTM as well, which in other meetings sometimes we happen to miss out. And this is great opportunity for everyone to articulate our thoughts and to present in a way like we are practicing. It's a platform where we are getting a chance to practice our public speaking, so we all can work around it. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Shaunak.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Toastmaster Yashika, for this constructive feedback. And that's a very valid point that you raised. So we'll take a note of it for the next meeting. Thank you so much. Toastmaster Gaurav, would you like to share your feedback and any areas of improvement that you see?
Right now, all this is new for me. I've attended only couple of meetings long back, so I'm trying to accustom to the thing before provide any kind of a feedback. I'm just trying to learn more. As of now, maybe after a couple of meetings, I might be able to, when I understand the things, I might be able to provide something or contribute something.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster
Thank
Gaurav.
you.
Now you're already contributing. So you have seen the construct of the today's meeting, how the overall meeting has been conducted for this duration of 1.5 hours. So yes, but your feedback for feedback from everyone matters for the improvement. And thank you so much, everyone, for your time for today's meeting. With that, we can close this meeting.